I believe we can finally say that the legal harassment of Eleanor owners has come to an end. We have a conclusion to the Halicki versus Shelby America and others case. But before we get to that, let's take a look at how we got here in the first place. Just a quick review to get everyone up to speed. Denice Halicki was the executive producer of the 2000 remake of Gone in 60 Seconds, starring Nicolas Cage and Angelina Jolie. That film featured a modified 1967 Ford Mustang nicknamed Eleanor. That led to previous litigation between the Shelby parties and Halicki. The story starts back in 1974 when H.B. Halicki produced, directed, and starred in the original Gone in 60 Seconds, which features just an awesome car chase scene with a 1971 Mustang modified to look like a 1972 Ford Mustang Mach 1, also named Eleanor. Halicki's movie was a hit, as was its 2000 remake. Yet despite also being named Eleanor, the Mustang in the remake was called a 1967 Shelby GT500. H.B. Halicki died in 1989 during an accident on the set of a planned 60 Seconds sequel. His widow, Denice Halicki, received the rights to the Gone in 60 Seconds film after her husband's death. As to Carroll Shelby, if you are watching this video on my channel, you know who he is. I need not cover the backstory of this legendary American icon, so I'll be brief. He and his team designed the 1967 Mustang Shelby GT500, and he passed away in 2012. The car featured in the Gone in 60 Seconds remake is a 1967 Mustang recreated to resemble a 1967 Shelby GT500 with some alterations that include a distinctive hood and headlights. This according to court documents. Although the Halicki parties contend the car in the film is not based on a Shelby, but is its own unique creation. Halicki in 2004 sued the Carroll Hall Shelby Trust and Carroll Shelby Licensing over the licensing of the trademarks related to Eleanor on vehicles labeled GT500E. The case reached the Ninth Circuit and the party settled in 2009, with Shelby giving up rights to the Eleanor and Halicki agreeing to make Eleanor models but without any Shelby trademarks such as the GT500 lettering. Halicki also sued Classic Recreations and its owners over a dispute about ownership of a specific Eleanor model built by Classic Recreations. Halicki won the 2015 trial and the appeal, this according to court documents. In 2019, Halicki's representatives sent cease and desist letters to several parties, including the owner of a GT500E, claiming the car needed to remove its Shelby trademarks and replace them with Eleanor trademarks. A letter was also sent to Classic Recreations, alleging a model it was building through a licensing deal with the Shelby parties. The GT500CR was based on the Eleanor. Those letters led the Shelby parties to sue Halicki, Eleanor Licensing, and Gone in 60 Seconds Motorsports LLC, claiming breach of contract, breach of covenant of good faith and fair dealing, false designation of origin, and trade libel. The Halicki parties filed countersuit against the Shelby parties, Classic Recreations, that included breach of contract, copyright infringement, and false designation of origin. In November of 2022, a copyright claim brought by the Halicki parties arguing the Eleanor is a copyright protected character like the Batmobile, which received copyright protection through a 2015 Ninth Circuit ruling. That same Ninth Circuit dismissed Halicki's copyright claim. Now Denice Halicki and her team are back in the Ninth Circuit in front of the same judge, Judge Skarsky. Court hearings were held on March 22nd and 23rd of 2023. A few items of interest that took place are as follows. A damages expert for the Halicki parties, a certified public accountant, David Connolly, testified Thursday and submitted a written declaration regarding potential damages. But Judge Skarsky struck his testimony after finding it based on a theory that does not require an expert. Judge Skarsky said the parties can submit briefs about potential damages. Under the bench trial rules set by Judge Skarsky, the majority of witnesses' direct testimony is given through a written declaration ahead of the trial before undergoing cross-examination and redirect testimony live during the trial. At the end of day one, Denice Halicki took the stand. However, her testimony was far from complete and it carried over the next day. And that's where things get interesting. Halicki retook the stand Thursday to continue her testimony that began the day prior, but things got heated quickly as she was questioned by Anton N. Handel. He's an attorney for Classic Recreations LLC. Judge Skarsky struck a number of Halicki's answers as non-responsive, and admonished her several times when she gave long, elaborate answers to Handel's questions or tried to keep explaining further when Handel attempted to move on to another question. This is a quote from Judge Skarsky. "Please, Ms. Halicki, it's not your opportunity to speak at this point." This after she interrupted Handel while he was responding to a question from the judge. "And if you do it again, the court will hold you in contempt," said Judge Skarsky. "Do you understand?" After Halicki said she did understand, the judge swung his attention to her attorney, Jason J. Keener, who also had interrupted Handel. "And counsel, let Handel speak. This is not an opportunity for people to just argue. You're talking to the court. Do you understand that?" Judge Skarsky said. Keener stated he did understand, and the judge continued saying, "Okay, I'm not going to put up with the sort of things that have happened in this case over and over and over again. Please, let's have courtroom decorum." One Shelby witness on Thursday was Gilly Ragioni, who said in his declaration that he owns a GT 500E purchased in 2005, but he was unable to sell the car at auction in 2020 because the auction house told him he needs a license from co-defendant Gone in 60 Seconds Motorsports LLC. I'll quote Mr. Ragioni here. "This was disturbing to me and made me angry at Shelby because I'd spent a great deal of money purchasing and maintaining my GT 500E, believing it to be worth a lot of money, specifically because it was built under authorization from Shelby. It has Shelby logos and trademarks on it and is listed in the Shelby registry." During questioning from Shelby attorney Caroline Mankey, Ragioni said he believed the only reason he was unable to sell the car was due to the threats of litigation from the Halicki parties. Judge Mark Skarsky ordered both parties to submit written closing briefs. These were to be completed and filed by May 8, 2023, and response briefs filed by May 22, 2023. Some insights to the closing briefs are as follows. Late racing icon Carroll Shelby's licensing company in written closing arguments stated that the producer behind Gone in 60 Seconds did not come remotely close to proving it breached a settlement over intellectual property rights to the 2000 film's Ford Mustang Eleanor car. The Shelby team said the trial testimony, evidence, and declarations proved its case, while Halicki's team, and I quote here, have not even come remotely close to doing the same. Thus, the court should enter a judgment in favor of Shelby on its claims and on Halicki's counterclaims. Classic Recreations and its owners, which were targeted in some of Halicki's counterclaims, argued among other things that Halicki is trying to enforce an agreement to which they were not a party, that the counterclaims are barred by the statute of limitations, and that the Halicki entities can't enforce copyrights and trademarks they do not own. This is a quote from their team. "The Halicki parties did not own any of the intellectual property rights, trademarks, or copyrightable material related to the Eleanor portrayed in the Gone in 60 Seconds movie. The Classic Recreation parties said in their closing argument brief, if they don't own the property, they can't enforce the rights to it. The Halicki parties argued that depending on how the statutes of limitations is interpreted, they are entitled to up to $16,803,000, which is the Classic Recreation party's revenue minus payments to the Shelby parties from the sales of the GT 500 CR, and up to $1.8 million from the Shelby parties. They were also seeking injunction relief that would prevent the future sale of GT 500 CRs or other cars that resemble Eleanor's based on the Halicki party's interpretation of the 2009 agreement. The Shelby parties are seeking $429,000 in damages and injunctive relief that would allow sales of their cars to continue along the lines of their interpretation of the 2009 agreement. A hearing date for the closing briefs was scheduled for June 5, 2023. At this hearing, after reviewing their closing arguments and hearing from all sides, U.S. District Judge Mark Skarsky dismissed Denice Halicki's copyright claims and made no ruling on the case. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but typically a judge dismisses a case when the plaintiff has not and cannot prove their case. This was an appeal to the decision from last November in this same Ninth Circuit. And this decision to dismiss leaves the Halicki team with very little options. Now, this is my opinion here, but this case is essentially over, but there's been damages to all parties. The Eleanor car was once loved by the entire car community, but not so much anymore. The name has been dragged through the mud. Once a beloved car is now a shunned car, and the level of interest around the car has diminished considerably. As to a remake of the Gone in 60 Seconds movie, I don't think anybody really wants to see that any longer. Now, maybe a few years down the road, times change, people forget things, but where we're at here and now, I just don't think that anyone has any interest in seeing that movie remade again. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Let me know what you think. You can leave a comment down below. If you like this video, please hit the like button. That's how YouTube works. The more likes it gets, the more YouTube shares it. So that would be awesome if you could do that. Also, to my subscribers, thank you for watching, and thanks for going through this case with me over the last, year now. I would have got to this sooner. I was waiting for a decision, and a lot of the legal stuff is behind a paywall. So I finally knuckled under and made the payment and got the information for you. That's all we have for this video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.